Hello, everyone, and welcome to this panel discussion for Jobber Professional Development Day, Market Your Business Through Community Involvement. I'm Molly, and I lead the community team here at Jobber, and I'll be moderating the panel today. And I'm excited to introduce our panelists for this session. They were all recipients of one of our Jobber grants in 2021, in part because they have such strong community connections in place. So our panelists include Amber from Goodwitch Cleaning Services, Donnie and Rebecca from Liberty Village Plumbing, Inc., and Brandon from Seal Pro Painting. So welcome, Amber, Donnie, Rebecca, and Brandon. We're so glad to have you here sharing all of your learnings and advice. So let's get started with a big question to kick things off. Why do you believe it's important for small businesses to give back to their communities? And Brandon, I will start with you.
Well, so me as a business owner, my mission is to make a positive impact. And, I truly believe that as business owners, as leaders in our communities, if we just do things just to serve ourselves, that can be kind of empty and unfulfilling. But when we have this mission to impact the lives of others, it brings purpose and meaning to what we're doing. And what I found, the great thing about that is that it also helps to attract top talent, because people want to be a part of something that's bigger than themselves. So something that has purpose behind it. And that's really what brings me fulfillment as a business owner, is to know that we're making a difference. We're not just checking off tasks or just doing work, but we're actually able to interact in our community and give back.
Definitely want to follow up on that talent comment because I saw lots of nods from people. But maybe Amber, I'll throw it over to you. Why do you believe it's important for small businesses to give back to their communities?
Absolutely. I don't just think that it's important. I think that it's going to happen whether you are intentional about it or not. So you're involved in a community, you live there, you work there, you do business there. Those are your clients or your potential clients or referral sources, or they could be the next person to leave you a 1-star review, even though they haven't done business with you. And what that comes down to is, are you putting good out into the world or are you not? So I find that knowing that community involvement is going to be there either way, and you need to be intentional about it, is what really matters. And it helps you sleep at night.
Right. You're kind of taking control of something that's going to happen no matter what. Donnie and Rebecca, how about you? What's your perspective on why it's important for small businesses to give back?
Yeah, to be in any service industry, no matter what you're servicing or doing, it's kind of a no-brainer. It really goes hand in hand, and you cannot have a business in that category without giving back in some way, or you're just not going to make it. It's ingrained in the definition of kind of what the service industry is. So you have to some way, and I think it's really just about being creative in how you do it. And they're the people that make your business. They're the ones that are going to talk to their neighbors. They are the reason you are going to grow. So how can you not give back to them in any way? Little community events, however, find those opportunities to do so.
Okay. I think Brandon. Oh, sorry. No, I think Brandon said it great. Is saying, like, if you are just in it for yourself, it comes across as empty. And I think people pick up on that. People pick up on why you're in the business. Like the reviews we get, they're all just like, these people care about what they're doing. They're not just here to like turn a profit. And that comes across, right? And I'm sure you've all been to a business where you're just like, I don't really feel like I was like respected as a customer, or I don't really think that they're in this for me or anybody else. Like they're in it for them. And I think that really comes across.
And what was there was actually a feedback review this week from somebody. It was humorous, but I forget what she said exactly. We changed her life basically in ways that we shouldn't have. But remember what she said?
Yeah, she said like my life will never be the same because of the plumbing service I had.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's so nice. Okay, let's continue down that track because a couple things have been mentioned. So like I'm hearing like it's table stakes basically, like it's going to happen whether you like it or not. So do you want to have an active positive role in how you're going to affect your community? So in what ways has community involvement helped your business? If you want to elaborate a bit more, Brandon, perhaps on talent, maybe other people can talk about that. I mean, Rebecca, you were kind of implying like people will choose your business and write reviews that kind of continue down that road. So yes, in what ways has your community involvement helped your business in tangible ways? Who wants to go first? Brandon, go.
Yeah. I think that they touched on this, but it really is true. Like people can pick up on what your motivations are. And so I really feel like, as a person, when you lead with your values, people are going to pick up on that and they're going to see it through the whole customer experience, from the start of the job to the finished product. And, when they see that you're a company that cares, that's going to want them to refer you to other people, to their friends, their family. And so just having that mindset really just, it brings back business tenfold. We had a lady last week that I went and I was giving her an estimate, and I found out that she was actually battling cancer and she was going into a surgery this past week. And so I told her, I was like, I'm going to send your quote over this evening. And then I reached out to her and I was like, you know what? We're going to do this project for you at no cost. We just want to give back to you. Mm-hmm. And the results that came from that, I found out she was like on the board of her HOA. She was like, I'm putting you out in my newsletter. I'm going to leave you guys an awesome review. Thank you so much. And she was like, the next project that we have, we're definitely going to use you. We'll refer you to everybody. And, so that's just that. Those are the results, and we have a lot of stories like that. We do a free exterior repaint every year. So it's just amazing what impact you can make when you just give and make a positive impact.
Mm-hmm. I think it's also important to be cognizant of like when you apply those things, because of course as a business you don't want to be doing that all the time. Every single opportunity you have to be kind of thoughtful in like when you do that and to what degree. And I find it's good to be humble in some ways. I don't have an example of this in our business, but like when we would do something. A nice gesture like that, we don't necessarily would tell the public. It's not a big deal. I think those little things will kind of like under the surface will kind of just germinate, if that's the right word, and kind of they will flourish eventually too. So it's not about doing an action. I think all three of us could agree. It's not doing an action necessarily. Say, hey everyone, look what I did. It's just like well, because it's ingrained in your culture. Like well, of course that's just the people we are. Obviously we're going to do that.
Mm-hmm. Can anyone talk about how your community involvement and initiatives have helped you with talent attraction and retention? I'd love to hear more about that.
Yeah,
so brought it up, Brandon. Oh yeah, go ahead, Amber.
Our stated mission isn't to scrub toilets. Our stated mission is to prove that you don't have to be an evil corporation to be a successful company. And so people who come and want to be our clients or people that come and want to be, members of our team, they're there because they want to prove it with us. And so one of the things that we ask when we first screen an applicant is, why do you want to work with this company? And some people will be like, okay, because I need the money or the pay is great or whatever. When we see somebody who says, I like that you're LGBTQIA friendly. I like that you support housing initiatives. I like these things about you and I want to be part of it. I'll overlook skill or lack thereof for somebody who's mission driven, because they'll learn because they want to learn.
I like that. And you know what, that leads well into my next question, which is what, we've talked about the philosophy, we've talked about some of the impacts. So let's talk about what you all do. What are some of the ways that your business is involved in your local community? And why did you choose those specific ways? And it sounds like some of it's informal, but I know that you're all involved in some formal initiatives. maybe Rebecca and Donnie, if you want to kick things off with how Liberty Village Plumbing is involved in the community.
Yeah, so when I started, there was already a couple of like events that Liberty Village Plumbing did. There's a local art crawl that happens every year, and a couple of kind of like local events like that we sponsor so that artists can go to the event for free or have a booth. We set up our own little booth, and this past year they had like a Christmas market version. And so with the funds, some of the funds from Boost by Jobber, we were like, let's bring some cider to this market. You know, it's very cold in Canada in November, especially in Toronto. So we provided cider. We had over 650 people come to our booth for free cider, which was great just to talk to the community and be a part of it. And, you know, that's one of the things we really love to, I think the biggest thing that we do is it is that kind of culture of community. Is every time we're looking for something, we're looking for it locally, right? So Donnie needed new face masks, and I found a local woman on Etsy who could make them with like our logo on it. Same with Donnie's shirts that are all from a local like screen pressing company. And it's things like that, you know, holiday Christmas cards that we get designed by local artists, and our website's designed by a local designer. All of those things, like we really try to source from our community because it's given us everything. And we have business because people search for that same thing, right? They're not searching for a huge, you know, plumbing company who has, you know, 50,000 reviews. They're looking for us, and we're very busy because of that, you know, so we just kind of do the same thing, and it's very reciprocal.
But even the things that we're involved with too, they're not necessarily the easier route to take.
Mm-hmm.
All these local things and like vetting them and finding them, that's more time and effort on our side. But we still see the benefit of that because those are the same people who are intentionally seeking us out for the exact same reasons.
Yeah. I like the range there too, like a big event, like as a marketing kind of initiative. And then as like small, but still time intensive, like you said, as to like, where do we get our shirts and can we get them locally? How about,
I love how
you, Amber, what are
you
some
guys
ways?
are.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Continue.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know. We spend, you know, companies nationwide or also, you know, Canada and US, we spend millions of dollars on advertising and branding and shirts and logos and everything else. But people don't remember any of that. People remember what you do. So we had where the local emergency shelter reached out to us to do a huge clean. They usually had a lot of volunteers coming in and helping to keep up with that. Because of COVID, they had to send all the volunteers home and be like, you can't come in. The facility got in pretty rough shape. And so they called us in. We did a full clean on the entire facility. We did it as close to cost as I could possibly make it. And we were there for literal days with an enormous team. So later we've had other non-government organizations, other community members, daycares, huge daily janitorial contracts that have reached out to us, not because we're Good Witch Cleaning Services, but because we're the company that helped the shelter.
Wow.
Right? So like they remember that. And they remember it more than the logo that I'm wearing on my shirt right now.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing.
Yeah, I'd love to add that, and I think Rebecca and can you remind me of your name? Donnie. Rebecca and Donnie kind of hit on this, that you don't, like, for us, we don't necessarily make like our community impact necessarily like event driven or like some big thing. We do that, but it's part of who we are as a business. So it's constantly like ongoing. We've had multiple customers where like we just look for opportunities. And I tell my team this, it's like every day, look for opportunities to give back, you know, and our customers are a great place to start. If you see an opportunity, you know, let me know and let's give back to these customers. We had a customer late last year, her husband passed away from COVID, and I had my guy go out to do this project for her. And at the end of the job, she asked how she could pay, and we told her it's on us. And we sent her gift cards to help with like meals and stuff, and just help her through that process of loss. And, that's just ingrained in who we are. And so it's kind of like always looking for opportunities to give back. Mm-hmm. And so I think like as business owners, we should, make that something that we do on a regular basis, make it a part of the culture of our business, that this is who we are. We're always looking for opportunity to give back. And we can do that by serving our customers well. And I would, also add like, before I ever started my business, I was involved in a nonprofit, and that obviously already does outreach and reaches out to the community and serves the community. And so I saw that as like a great place to partner up. And through that, we do, like I mentioned, the free exterior repaint. And it just so happens to be that it's been for teachers. So we bless a teacher with a free exterior repaint of their home and surprise them with it. And it's really cool. So just making it who you are.
Yeah. Well, thank you. The scope of that and the range of that was great. It was like in the moment, something planned with another organization, being flexible when another organization reaches out in need, figuring out where you're sourcing materials. Lots of great examples there for people to take away and think about. I want to change tracks a little bit to talk about networking with other business owners in home service or not. Definitely that's kind of come up in a way here already. But yeah, in your experience, where are the best places to meet other business owners that lead to fruitful relationships? Brandon, I'm going to start with you again. We'll go backwards.
Yeah, I kind of already hinted on this, but I think like the best way to go about connecting is when it's natural and it's relational. So it's not like we're going out and we're trying to solicit businesses to partner with. It's kind of like a natural thing where, I'm already involved in a community of people who are like-minded, who have the same values. And so if I have friends that are business owners and I know they have the same values and they are wanting to do the same things as I am, that's where I want to start with connecting and building those partnerships, because then there's not all of these like things that we have to try and connect on. It's like pretty natural to like just be like, oh yeah, we're in the same place. We're already doing the same things. We already know we have the same values, and it works that way. So that's how I go about it.
Yeah, I like that. Amber?
I am dead. Brandon, I can definitely tell that you are an extrovert and a half. You're like, oh, this just happens naturally. I'm an introvert. You have to drag me out of the house. So one of the places that I found was a really compelling place to be involved with other business owners was it's an organization based out of Kansas City by the Kauffman Foundation. It's called 1 Million Cups. It's got a whole bunch of different chapters all over. I was the Manhattan chapter's lead organizer for 2 years because I just absolutely fell in love with the program. And basically it's free. You show up, you drink coffee, 2 entrepreneurs will talk about so you have to be a startup 5 years or less, or within 2 years of a major pivot. At this point, who's not within 2 years of a major pivot, right? But to attend, you can be anywhere in your entrepreneurial journey. So just being able to like connect with those new entrepreneurs and find ways of connecting them in the community or meeting their needs or answering their questions. And I mean, when I went and presented, it was as simple as, people offering to just take me out for coffee and let me pick their brains. And consultants cost a lot of money. And if the president of a bank is letting you pick his brain, then you should probably do that. Right. So just being able to come full circle at the end of that 2 years as that lead organizer and being the person who was saying, okay, well, I'll buy you a cup of coffee and you can pick my brain was really, really validating and compelling. So that's a great program. they're supposed to meet. I know that things have gotten weird because of the pandemic. They usually meet once a week on Wednesdays. And so it's just a really great opportunity to get some introverts out of the house or in the house. They're doing it on Zoom now because everything's on Zoom now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So that was a really great program that we have enjoyed for quite some time. And then we also, there's the networking groups. BNI comes to mind. There are other referral network groups around the US. I know that especially when you're starting off, when you have more time than you have contracts, that can be a really, really great place to get started. You need to connect with people, and you need to connect with the same people about once a week for it to turn into a lasting friendship. So something that gets you in with the same group once a week can be extremely valuable when it comes to building relationships for introverts.
And how about you, Donnie and Rebecca?
I'd say for me personally, I'm kind of I seem to be maybe right in the middle of the other extroverts, introverts. I may be a little hybrid in some ways. When I'm in business mode, I would probably be more extroverted. But like on my weekends, it's like I'm very introverted. It's nothing's happening to that degree. My day to day in finding people, it's kind of it's a very open mind, and I've run into who are now really good friends, like in a parking garage while unloading my tools in the van. With the right branding, it says plumbing on the side. Obviously, people walk up, "Are you a plumber?" "Yes, I am. How can I help you?" And it just goes from there. It's just like be receptive and open to kind of anything. Like you're there. It's almost like you're in service. Like just because you're not at the customer's door in their home doesn't mean you're not still servicing the company or the business or something, right? So like the person you're riding up the elevator with who just has a comment, say, "Hey, I like your brand. That's great." Or "I don't like that." Or, "Your pants should be tucked into your, et cetera, your boots or not." It's just like, that's all feedback. Just listen to it and adapt to it. Just be open to it wherever it comes from.
Yeah. Anything to add there, Rebecca, about where you meet other business?
We've had good success at trade shows. Like we'll do a field trip day because I'm in the office. Like I work remotely, so I'm at my home and Donnie's out in the field. So a lot of the time it's just we don't see each other. We talk on the phone, but we'll have days where we're going to go to the building show today downtown. And last time we were there, we met some guy who owns it's like the fire testing company, right?
Yeah. Fire and sprinkler sort of thing. So
and Donnie knew about him because that company services his building that we're in right now. And it was this like whole kind of steamrolling of, I would love to pick your brain, and kind of went back and forth. So trade shows are great. Even like the Jobber Entrepreneurship Facebook group, I'm on there all the time, just reading what other people say, about and businesses I don't even know about, like Christmas tree or Christmas light hanging businesses. Like I didn't even know that was a thing. And so many things that I get to read and learn about and see okay, that's how they structure, recurring jobs or whatever.
Right.
Which is invaluable, obviously.
And the diversity is important too, because you can still learn something from a company that hangs Christmas lights.
Yeah.
For us as a plumbing company, there's a lot of relatable things there. As on the surface, you can't. It just doesn't seem likely, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Gosh, this is a great panel. Like the diversity in the answers. It's like, here's where you can meet people online. Here's where you can meet people offline. Here's where just be open to conversations. There have been so many different suggestions about that, but then also here are some formal ways that you could set up weekly meetings with people, because that leads to things. It seems like a theme is that there's no expectation that anyone has had going into these. You're just meet people, go for coffee with someone who manages a bank, go for coffee with another business owner that has nothing to do with home service, Christmas light installation thing, and don't have any expectations. That I haven't heard a single thing where you expect a transaction to happen. So very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you for all of those ideas. Yeah, Brandon.
I was just going to add to what Donnie said. I think it's awesome. Basically, I think as entrepreneurs and business owners, I would say many of us probably look at everything as an opportunity, right? It's whoever we meet could be like the next, job. It could be the next best connection, whatever. So yeah, I just love that he mentioned like just having that open mind of like, it's almost like anything is possible. Every connection is meaningful. So yeah, that's awesome.
Okay. We have time for one more question, and I will change track again. Let's talk about your customers. How do you like to connect with customers to build relationships outside of contracts or jobs? Do you have a process to help you do that? How do you kind of maintain and build that relationship? Amber, do you mind if we start with you?
I do. I'm going to pass and kind of listen in.
No problem. It is a very sharp turn in the road.
I could share.
Yeah, please.
I kind of hinted on this before, but it's so for us, we want to make like our entire process from like first phone call until we leave the job and everything about a deep connection with the customer and relationship. So like my marketing guy, Antonio, my guys in the field, my lead painter, my other painters, I tell them like, look for opportunities to give to this customer.
Right.
And it just whatever they're motivated by. Like we've bought toys for our customers' kids. They're like, oh, like they have 2 little boys. Like can we buy them a toy? Like, yeah, sure. Spend a few bucks, buy them a toy, like, and just give to them. And there's the only motivation in that is like, we just love to give. And, I tell my guys, I'm like, if you stop to get coffee in the morning, text the customer and say, hey, can we bring something for you? We're going to stop and get coffee before we come to the job. Or, hey, we're going to lunch. Would you like anything? And sometimes customers take advantage of that offer. Sometimes they don't. So it's like a process through the job. And then at the end, we use a software called Send Out Cards, where we automatically send a personalized thank you card to every single customer when the job's done. And then we have consistent follow-up through email. And we don't ever ask for like business when we do that. It's simply just a thank you. Or the follow-up emails that we send, it's literally like, hey, it's the holidays. Happy Thanksgiving. Hope you and your family are doing well. And something like that.
That's great. Well,
I'm gonna play teacher's pet here for a second.
Do it.
And because that reminded me of something. Teacher's pet being that I'm gonna promote Jobber here for a second. So, when we get every customer gets an invoice, and on there in some way it asks for feedback, and it's like a rating scale. Do you want to have a little blurb about what you say? That's all internal. So we take that information, and if it's good feedback, and usually it is, at that point, then we'll ask someone to post that live. So like, hey, that's great. Do you mind putting that feedback on Google review for us? So it's a way to kind of internally control, in some ways, the good information and what we can pass through to the public, and kind of like resolve the ones that are like, well, I had an issue. Can you come back and do this? For example, we can fix a lot better, specifically because of the platform. It allows us to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I like that kind of that kind of informal and then a bit of a process take on it. And yeah, thank you all for sharing your community advice and learnings. Appreciate it.